Dr. Rick Wallace here, dropping in on you. Hope everybody is having a great weekend. No matter what's going on, no matter how your week is gone, this is a new day. This is a new opportunity to do something special, to do something extraordinary, to begin a process of change in your life. If you're not happy with where you're at, the beautiful thing is you're not stuck there. I cannot express that enough. There are a bunch of people out there that really do believe that suffering is their lot in life, that poverty is their lot in life, that moving through and meandering through the maze of mediocrity is their lot in life. They don't aspire to anything because they don't believe that it can happen. They don't believe that they deserve it. They don't believe that they're capable, and so many other things that lock people out of what it is they're capable of doing in this world. I am challenging every person that watches this video, no matter when you see it. You have something inside of you worth activating and living in, and you have to be the one to make the first move. So go get it. On that note, I am sitting here and actually was preparing for the Q&A session with the members of the Epic Realm. For those who aren't familiar with the Epic Realm, it is a community I created. It is a private organization where you have to enroll as a member. It is designed to be 100% positive, encouraging. It promotes accountability, but it is about being there for one another, sharing what we have going on, answering any questions. And we go in. Today is our Q&A session, and we're dealing with emotional trauma. We're dealing with emotional healing, emotional intelligence, trauma, and so much more. And so it reminded me about the masterclass for next Saturday, which is the masterclass on healing emotional and psychological trauma and the importance of it. So I just wanted to drop in and talk to you about that. Before I do, I want to remind you that in this class, well, during this class, I am going to draw from the names of the people who have enrolled in the class, and I'm going to gift one $10,500 platinum package and one $6,900 gold package to to two individuals. One's going to get the platinum, one's going to get the gold. If you have ever wanted to work with me, if it has ever been a desire to sit down and have someone partner with you to achieve something remarkable or exceptional in your life, this is it. My flagship package, the platinum package. That's 1 year. That's 52 sessions of working out your destiny with someone who is literally equipped to help you get there. You don't want to miss this. I gave away 2 platinum packages last master class. I'm giving away a platinum and a gold this time around, but even the gold is still a wonderful thing. So check that out. Look, I'm going to tell you why it's important that you attend. We're going to be talking today in the Q&A session in Epic Realm. We're going to be talking about emotional healing. We're going to be talking about trauma. We're going to be talking about depression and its influence on our health, suicidal ideations, how that look. We're going to address a number of different things. But here's the thing. The idea that in somehow or some way you get through life without experiencing trauma is ridiculous. Now, just because you experience trauma does not mean that you are traumatized. A lot goes into determining whether you're traumatized. What's the difference between having a traumatic event and actually being traumatized by the event? Well, when you have the traumatic event, it happens. People go through emotional loss. People go through shakeups all the time. People go through physiological experiences that can traumatize them physically, but also traumatize them mentally, but may not. What happens when you are actually emotionally or psychologically traumatized is that you become stuck uh, in a sort of psychoneurological conundrum of reality merging with memory. And so now you have a situation where your past experience hasn't been cataloged in your mind and in your memory as being in the past. it is still present. And since it's a negative experience, it's still being perceived as a threat. So whenever it's triggered, it's not triggering a memory, it's triggering the re-experiencing of the threat. And that is what shuts people down. That is what locks people back. That is what causes so many people to not be as effective as they are. Traumatic experiences range the gamut. What's traumatic to one person isn't as traumatic as to the next. Perception, experience, how someone observes and perceives something is going to have a massive impact on how traumatized they are about an event. That's why you can have multiple people experience the same thing and have different outcomes. And the person who comes out of it and seemed almost unscathed by it is looking over and saying, man, I went through the same thing. It's not that big of a deal. Well, the thing is, no one has identical experiences, and your experiences are going to have an impact on how you engage challenging moments in your life, no matter what those challenging moments are. Someone who is emotionally healthy will not have the same experience or outcome with someone who has had a series of emotional challenges when it comes to having a catastrophic event happen in their lives. There's one person is already closer to the traumatic threshold than the other. So you have to understand that. But what happens over time, that's this thing called complex trauma. Complex trauma is the stacking of trauma. Sometimes it's the same traumatic experience for someone who's in an abusive relationship, some for a child who's in an abusive home or in a home with someone who is addicted to a controlled substance or alcohol. And there's these events that happen because of this environment in reality. And so they are literally experiencing trauma over and over, sometimes daily. And what that does, it stacks that trauma. And that's called complex trauma. It is the revisiting of traumatic experiences over and over in a person's life. When we talk about PTSD, we're normally talking about one traumatic experience that caused or created what we refer to as post-traumatic stress disorder. It is a form of or a reality associated with some past traumatic event. Well, when we talk about complex trauma, another form of complex trauma when we're dealing with kids specifically is called adverse childhood experiences. And with adverse childhood experiences, we're talking about some things that are almost common in certain cultural environments or certain socioeconomic environments in certain places. The separation of parents getting divorces and breaking up. That's a traumatic experience for a child. Cannot stress that enough. That's why choosing a mate is so important. Choosing who you procreate is so important because your progeny are going to have to live with your decision. And so that's one. Neglect is another. Abuse, whether physical, sexual, or emotional, are all forms of an adverse childhood experience. Each adverse childhood experience stands as in itself as 1 point. When a child gets to 4 points, their life outcomes in health are severely compromised. They're 12 times more likely to attempt suicide. They're 4 to 6 times more likely to develop ischemic heart disease, which is the #1 killer on the around the globe, natural killer around the globe. Um, they can develop uh, diabetes, autoimmune uh, diseases like lupus, and we can go on and on and on. That environment has created a situation in which that child has now been compromised, not just emotionally, not just psychologically, but physiologically, their health is going to be impacted. That there's direct correlation to the experience that a child has versus what a child is going to do in life, emotionally, psychologically, and even physiologically. And so we want to protect the children. But we also have to understand, okay, what happens when we were not good on the preventative side? The goal is always preventative. Prevent psychotic situations, prevent ongoing persistent depression or major depressive disorders, prevent all of these different things. And we're going to talk about how depression is actually directly associated with dementia. We're going to talk about how depression can lead directly to psychosis and psychotic breaks. We're going to talk about this in this Q&A session, but we're also going to talk about this in this course that I'm holding on next week. And the goal is, okay, what happens when, yes, Dr. Joy DeGruy was one, definitely, that has talked about that significantly. She is one that I've actually gleaned a lot from in the study of epigenetics and where I'm at in that in myself. So yes, you're on point with that. Um, there's another young sister who is the head of the God, head of health department for the state of California. And she's out in San Francisco, and she's a sister, and she is a champion for giving a voice to adverse childhood experiences. And what we have to understand is this. So what happens when we're not good on the preventative side? People are going to experience a certain level of trauma. We're going to experience loss. We're going to experience heartache and a number of other things. So what happens? We have to have intervention. We have to have a means of engaging our hurts, our harms, our injuries. The problem with most of us is that we have unchecked, undiagnosed, untreated trauma. We aren't allowed to be traumatized. Uh, we can't say we're traumatized. Trauma is looked at and sort of snarled or frowned at, and people don't take it serious. Hold on, I could tell you her name. I mean, I've got a lot of her work. God, I don't know why it ain't coming to me now. Oh man, I think her name is Dr. Nadine something. I'm gonna find it in a minute. Yeah, Nadine Burke Harris. Um, so definitely check that out. She does a very good job of defining and describing it, but there's plenty of work out there on it. But here's the thing: when you don't deal with this, it doesn't go away. It starts to manifest itself in ways, and after a while, it becomes a part of your norm and your standards. It becomes a part of who you are, and you don't recognize it, and you start to say, that's just who I am. And people start to say, that's just how they act. And then you don't realize that you're literally experiencing the ramifications of untreated trauma. And then you're out there trying to live life through the lens of a traumatic experience. I'm telling you, some of the most devastating things I've seen, people destroy their lives because they are viewing life through the lens of someone else's failure, in harming them in some way or mistreating them in some way. And they are literally viewing their entire life through the lens of that trauma. So everything's a threat. Everything is somebody's out to get them. Everything is, it can't be good. So even when it's good, they sabotage it. Why? Because they can't expect it to last. They're looking for the hammer to drop. And then they're going through these experiences, and they may have a person who's actually there for them, but they can't see it. And then the person is there, and they're seen as the enemy. And so then they become the direct target of these responses, and before you know it, they've destroyed a good opportunity not only to heal, but have a partner or a friend or someone that can really walk through life and share with them or whatever, in whatever capacity. People have killed unbelievable opportunities in business because of these traumatic experiences. And what I want people to do is understand the importance of dealing with it. And so what we're going to do next week is we're going to talk about a number of different traumatic experience. The way I designed this program was initially for people to take it, and it's self-paced. It's for people who, I don't really want to work with a therapist. I don't know about that, but they know something's there and they want to deal with it. So it's self-paced, and it's simple enough that you follow this procedure, and it's training you on how to deal with your traumatic experience through the practice of certain cognitive practices, certain behavioral practices, certain ways of speaking and moving and acting and being aware. Emotional intelligence is huge. Emotional intelligence is awareness of your emotions what causes you to go to certain places, how you get there, how you get back. So it allows you to effectively manage your emotions. As you begin to manage your emotions, you begin to create what we call holistic equilibrium. And what is that? That's the balance between mind, spirit, body, soul, and it comes in. But and people don't understand it because most people are strength operating in one area real strong, and that's their area of resilience, and the other parts are out of whack, and it's just unhealthy. It becomes the way you move and the way you operate, and you just simply accept that this is as good as it gets, and you never pursue anything better. But it's got you locked out of a better life, locked out of a better opportunity, locked out of an enriching relationship, locked out of living your life at the level of your design, locked out of rising and meeting the challenges of life. It is immensely important that you understand that in order to be everything that you are designed to be, you're going to have to raise the level of your performance. You're going to have to, and in order to raise the level of your performance, you're going to have to deal with some of the things that are weighing you down. Many of you are dragging around an anvil or weight, an anchor that has you hooked to the past, and you don't even realize it. Many of you are consistently consulting your past for permission to do something new in your future, and you don't know why you keep cycling the same results. You can't consult your past if your past does not have an experience that you're seeking. You're asking your past to validate something it has never experienced. You're looking for something new in your life. You're looking for something that's going to be up here, but you've never been there before. You can't consult your past for validation, confirmation, approval of what you're trying to do because it's never experienced it. You're going to have to consult your imagination. You're going to have to consult your belief in something inside of you, in that it's possible. And then you're going to have to walk out there and live in it, walk out there and work on it, walk out there and adapt and change. But you're going to have to deal with the things who have you that have you anchored. A bunch of people are anchored in the hurt from their past, and it's dictating their behavior in the present, and it's locking them out of a supernatural reality in the future. That is the problem that I see, especially within the Black community, because we bring trauma into the equation. Then we double down by traumatizing most of us our own children. Then we traumatize our lovers because we haven't healed our trauma. Traumatized people traumatize others. And so what happens is we are bringing something from the past into the present that is toxic, that is poisonous, that is disruptive and chaotic. And then we're expecting to experience a life of promise, a life of reward, a life of excellence. But what we keep running into are the snags of our own memory pulling us back. We have a responsibility to ourselves. That's the thing that I have to get across to my clients most. Yeah, I know they did it to you. I'm not denying or challenging you on the fact that that person did that to you. But here's the thing. That person may not ever acknowledge they did it. They may never apologize for it, or the contrary. They could have realized after doing it that they did something they shouldn't have done. They may have literally changed their lives and they've moved on, and they are now living a life of fulfillment while you're sitting here holding on to what happened because you refuse to put in the work. And now they're living a life better than the life you're living, and you're holding on to it as if some kind of way it's going to hurt them. And if you release it, some kind of way they're getting away with something. It's done. It's done. It's over. Yes, you are still suffering because you haven't decided to put in the work and change. You're suffering because you haven't decided to put in the work and grow. You're still suffering. They may not even be. They may have dealt with the ramifications or karma or the reaping or whatever you want to call it that came with what they did. They may have already dealt with it. May have already had a reckoning with God, the world, life, the universe, whatever you want to call it. They may have made a change in their life. They may have gone on and they're doing something, and you're looking at them and feeling like they're getting away with something. No, they dealt with who they were. They dealt with the problem. They made a change. Some people haven't. whether they have or not. Here's the problem. When you hold on to something hurtful that someone else did to you, with the hopes of somehow holding them accountable and hurting them, or keeping them on lock, or not letting them get away with something, you accomplish the contrary. I had it said to me one time before, sitting up and holding on to unforgiveness and not putting in the work to grow and to heal is the same as sitting up and taking poison and hoping someone else dies. Think about that for a while. Think about that. You are literally toxic with anger, toxic with hurt, toxic with bitterness, and you are literally expecting that somebody else is going to suffer because of it. You're the one suffering. You definitely are going to have to heal. You're going to have to release it. And I'm not telling you this from a place that's saying what I'm saying is easy. I'm telling you from a place of a person who's had to heal, a person who is currently going through healing. What I'm telling you is it's not easy, but it's absolutely necessary. Can't hold on to it. And I know that feeling. There's a natural human instinct inside of you that says, man, I just want them to feel what I feel. Or you're that person that going, I just want them to know how bad they hurt me. Or you're that person, they need to see just what they screwed up. Some of you are out there holding grudges with your parents. Some of you out there, you just holding grudges with your parents. You are a horrible parent. You didn't do this right. You didn't do that right. You ruined my life. And you're 30 years old. Your parent could have sucked. Your parent may have sucked. I can tell you as a parent who loves my kids, whether they're my biologicals or not, I don't make a difference. I love my kids. And I can tell you I haven't been a perfect father. So I give it everything I've got. And the one thing I promise my kids is that I'm accessible. So no matter what has happened in the past, I'm still here. I'm still willing. I'm still ready. And even though you're grown, you still need me. And so I'm here. All I ask is respect. You can tell me anything. You can tell me how you feel. You can tell me you weren't happy with something I've done. I need to know. I need to know because I'm working with people. I'm teaching people. And I still have a few that haven't reached 20, 21, 25 yet. So they still need me in that area. You may help me help them. So I don't have a problem with you being honest with me as long as it's respectful. You always have access to me. But say, for instance, you got a parent that just screwed it up and is okay with it and is not going to admit it, and you're holding on to it. You're not hurting them. You're hurting yourself. You're not healing. You're not growing stronger. You're not getting better. At some point, you are going to have to put in the work. That's what next week is about. Next week is about getting people to start putting in the work. This is going to be, to me, exceptional because number one, for the price of this course, which is $150, you're going to get to work with me directly. We're going to address general trauma. We're going to address your personal trauma. If you want to talk about it, we're going to talk about it. If you don't want people to know who you are, you can be anonymous on this and still talk and have questions and have your questions answered. Or if you want to be open and share and be a part of it, hey, I'm going to talk about my trauma. This is going to be real transparent. I'm going to talk about my trauma. I'm going to talk about the things that I've gone through, the things I'm going through to a certain extent, because I'm not going to harm or throw anybody under the bus, but I'm going to talk about my pain and how I have to heal. I don't see, the thing is, in life, you can sit up and fold under the pressure, or you can put in work and you can be what you were designed to be and do what you were designed to do. And it's not going to always seem fair. And one of the problems we have in this life is we keep looking for fairness, and that's not where we get on. We get on in resilience, in perseverance, in commitment, in purpose and direction, and we refuse. I show up every day, not because I feel like it. Some days I'm out of there. Most of the time in my life, I'm good. But there are just times in my life that real things happen. And sometimes they aren't easy to shake. Sometimes they're extremely heavy. Sometimes they are extremely heavy. And so then what? What do? We have to show up. That's the thing I tell my people. You got to show up. I'm just getting all these alarms popping up. That's probably the noise you hear in the background, all these alarms, because I'm 10 minutes away from this Q&A. And so I need to get off and get ready for that. But I just want to share with you that, oh, wow. They tell you you didn't ask to be. I mean, you're gonna have children who don't understand, who don't want to take accountability, and you're gonna be the target a lot as parents when adults get there and realize adulting wasn't as easy as they thought it was, and all of a sudden now they've got to get to it and make it happen. It's your fault. But here's the thing: at 30, no matter how bad your parents is, you have had time to heal. You've had time to grow. You've had time to become, and you've had time to set out. You're going to have to take advantage of your opportunities to heal. It's that simple. So before I get off, I'm going to invite you. Join us. You're going to come out. You're going to get to work with me. I'm also giving away a $10,500 platinum package. That's 1 year of working with me. We will be probably increasing the price of that package by the end of the summer with a new reframing, restructuring, scaling out, and doing everything. This year, we are expanding the business, and I'm excited about that. But that I'm pretty sure that price will go up. But right now, it's $10,500, but you can get it for free simply by signing up for this. If you win the drawing, somebody's going to walk away with that package. Somebody's going to walk away with a $6,900 gold package. But more importantly, you're going to walk away with tools that can help you heal from trauma and open the gates of possibility in your life to do exceptional and extraordinary things. That's the thing that's most prevalent, is that you start the process of healing. On that note, I've got to get ready to get out of here to get ready for this Q&A session. And on that note, hey, have an unbelievable day. And I'm going to drop in on you guys as soon as I can again. Love, peace, I'm out.